I want to move on to our next section, which is our Reddit rabbit hole. So we scanned Reddit for a few questions for you. I'm going to ask you 2 questions from Reddit. So this first one was actually found in the public health subreddit. And this is something that I've actually personally debated with, and I'm glad that this person raised this. So is big wellness the new big pharma? And they go on to say, we often hear about big pharma and its influence on healthcare, but have we considered the growing impact of big wellness? The global wellness industry is now valued at $6.3 trillion, dwarfing the $1.6 trillion pharmaceutical industry and vastly exceeding the $78.5 billion global vaccine market. While wellness can promote healthy lifestyles, its unchecked corporate expansion raises concerns about its influence. What are your thoughts? I love this question. Very interesting.
Yeah, I haven't thought about this before, but I would say I'm not as concerned about it because it's fractured. So pharma has consolidated and they have power. There's 2 pharmaceutical lobbyists for each congressman or senator in Washington. They've got like institutional power. They've structured the FDA and other governing bodies to keep out anyone else from entering the industry. And so there's power there that doesn't exist in the wellness industry, and the wellness industry is more fractured. I mean, when you look at big pharma, that 1.7 trillion is among mainly 5 companies, right?
Right.
And in wellness, that might be 5,000 companies or more. And so I would get very concerned probably if you started to see a lot of consolidation where you were getting these really big, powerful wellness brands that were aggregating and having lobbying power and all sorts of things. I think that's where the corruption can really come in. There's a very interesting trend where the distrust of pharma is on the rise and people want to try wellness products.
Right.
I was surprised that the industry is that big. That really is.
That's what,
Big. I wonder what they're including in that.
me
They
too.
might be including all organic food.
Right.
And then, it's like, what do you mean wellness?
Exactly.
How are you defining that?
Right.
But yeah, if it was starting to consolidate into a few big players who were really
Yes.
powerful, then my concerns would go up. But it's so fractured and there's so many little, and there's definitely a trend in this way. Like functional medicine is a huge trend. And I think will be a big disruptor over the next 10 years where you're going to a doctor who's a functional medicine doctor who's prescribing peptides and pharmaceuticals and supplements and hydrogen water and trying to give you more of a holistic approach to your health. I think that trend is going to be huge. And as soon as someone cracks the code and starts doing this the right way,
Agree.
the big healthcare companies will start consolidating those and rolling that up because they'll see that they can make a lot of money doing it. And that's bound to happen. But yeah, I think the fracture is what keeps it safe for a minute.
Agree. Yeah, it's very disjointed and also can be very confusing to the consumer because, trying to figure out who you need to go to. Do I go to, naturopath? When do I need to go to this,
Yep.
Ayurveda person, whatever it may be? Like there's still a lot of education that needs to be done to help people to get there. Which actually, go
But
ahead.
also on the opposite side of that, with the confusion and innovation you can't have one without the other.
So
You
true.
can't innovate without causing some confusion and some disruption in the marketplace. And so it's a sign that there's some really healthy and interesting things happening because people are innovating like crazy. But that also leads to the confusion because it's not normalized yet.
Which actually leads me to our second Reddit rabbit hole question, which is a little bit related. So this was in the anti-consumption subreddit. And this person just drops a question. Are supplements just another form of wellness consumerism? What are your thoughts there?
What do you mean by that? What is the what's the concern that they're addressing there?
I'm going to throw I'm my interpretation because I've actually heard people say this and they're like, I was talking to another entrepreneur who completely went off supplements. Was like, I'm not going to be doing any supplementation. I think it's a scam. I feel like people are just trying to sell me things. They became, oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. They went keto and then they became carnivore. And they're like, I'm getting everything I need from eating meat and I don't need supplements. They're just trying to make me spend money. And I paused. It was really interesting, very smart person. We have these debates. And I was shocked by his stance on this. So
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll throw in a quote that I have said many, many times.
Right.
but specialty diets and specialty wellness are the designer genes of the 80s.
That's what thank you.
And it's a flex. For
Yeah,
most people, it's a flex,
totally. It's a
right?
flex.
Like, why do you buy, I don't know, designer stuff? Why do you buy Louis Vuitton?
Right.
It's got the logo all over it. That's why you buy it.
Right.
You want people
Right.
to know you can afford it.
Right.
And people don't do those really specialized things and stay quiet about it. They do them because they want people to see that they can do them and they can afford to do them.
You see me over here, and I'm like, I'm not trying to knock anyone. Do you do you, boo? But like, yes, it becomes, and actually, you start to see a kind of like hive mind effect. Like one person does it, and they're talking about it all the time. Then the next person, the next person, and if you feel great, amazing. But I agree with you. Like people aren't typically like hush hush about what they're doing. Typically,
Yeah. But there are some really cool things coming.
totally.
Wellness for wellness sake. There's some really cool things coming. So I can do a guy about a new mitochondrial test that's really easy to administer. In the past, those have been like a muscle core sample, so no one ever did it. But they have a blood test. There's the genetic tests you can do. And being able to know what medicines your body needs by monitoring your
Yes.
genetics and your mitochondrial function, and then only choosing the supplements that actually work, that your body actually needs. Because if you don't know, it's like random acts of supplementation.
Yes. Yes.
And you don't know if it's working or not, or if your body needs it or not. And I think that happens a lot. There's a lot of waste of people taking things they don't need. And so as the testing improves and the access to the testing improves, there's a real possibility for savings and health improvement because people will choose to supplement with the things their body needs to supplement with and ignore the rest. And I don't know if you've ever tried the carnivore diet or keto.
Have.
They're hard to do, but I did feel pretty good.
Yeah, that's
So,
like, hey, do you? Because and also
yeah.
everyone's wired differently. Their body needs different things. So hey, more power to you. But it does feel like a lot of times people jump on a bandwagon, and yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
it feels more like a flex than I'm doing it because this is what's working for me. And you get people who get to that state, and that just is their life. But yeah,
I've got another friend who's a really funny guy, and he says all the time when we talk about something, he's like, "Is it trending? I only do things that are trending."
I love it. What a hoot.
He's making fun of all those people
Yeah,
that live like that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
a lot of
totally,
people do that.
totally,
They just want to
totally,
be a part
totally.
of something cool, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. I know we're just about at time, but if you have a few minutes, I would love to jump to our last section.